to be a Java talk, and I will be showing basically only integration from Java. So if you are not a Java developer, probably you won't get much out of it. Shortly about myself, I work as a principal software engineer at Red Hat. I am leading Java user group here in Brno, so if you are local, we have actually last meetup before summer next week on Thursday. I authored my first book called Quarkus in Action, which was released this January, and you can find me everywhere online as Štefanko. Since we have only 35 minutes, which is very short time for any talk, I will go very fast. So first, I really want to start with why I decided to create this talk, or why I decided to play with command line applications and AI integrations. Finally, I'm doing this talk in my hometown in Czech Republic, so you understand these diacritics problems, because you know that we need to write these really nice letters on everything that we are basically writing. But unfortunately, it's also slightly different. I'm originally from Slovak Republic, a little different in Slovak Republic, so there are some slight differences, and this is not my strong area. So something which I really worked on is to get really fast at typing in plain ASCII. But when I add these diacritics, I'm extremely slow. So I always wanted a way how to basically write plain ASCII text and just magic, and I will get basically plain ASCII text, magic, and I have all the diacritics, possibly also grammar fixed. So I wrote a command line application that actually takes whatever argument you will pass into it, and it will send it to OpenAI to fix the grammar. So I want to show this in action, because I can talk all day. So if I just write OpenAI grammar, and let's say doufám, že se vám všetko bude líbit, then if I have internet, in a while I will get back the fixed text. Of course, this is not so interesting, so hopefully I have I don't have something private in my email, because I didn't prepare for this because of the time. Let's make it this faster and possibly put it like this. If I now write something like this, vítejte, tady je to super, a to něco zase mi přednáška je super, I can just select the text, magic shortcut, which will invoke my command line application in the back, and I will just Control-V back, and I have fixed text. So one of the possible actual useful applicability of AI applications, the one at least that I found. So I really want to emphasize why this makes sense. Since I suppose that not everyone is familiar how actual interaction with LLM works beyond your ChatGPT interface or Gemini interface, I want to just really shortly touch on it before we will get to the code, because I will be showing you an integration of Java library that is interacting with the model through exposed APIs, which are usually REST or HTTP APIs. So typically, when you are actually typing something into a chat interface, you are in the background calling a normal HTTP request to some model running somewhere on the OpenAI or Google infrastructure or whatever else company. The point is that you can, of course, you need to authenticate, because otherwise they will not respond. The point is that you can, of course, set your message, which you are sending typically also from the UI, but you have also many different different options that you can set in this JSON, which is being sent. Like, for instance, setting the system message, which sets somehow the context of your LLM interaction. So you can basically say something like be polite or be very not polite. And the LLM will adjust the messages, because this system message is actually the model itself is trained to treat a system message in a different way. So you can also set, for instance, temperature, which will basically change how creative the model is. This is number from 0 to 2. So if you will set it to 0, it will be as concise, as on point as possible. If you set it to 2, it will basically create flowers and clouds and these kind of things. This is example response. There is no point that you need to actually see what is inside, but except for the actual response from the LLM, you also get a bunch of different parameters, like for instance, invocation of different tools, which is basically a possibility how the model itself can call back your application, for instance, if you are into these kind of things. Or you can, for instance, see the number of tokens, which is actually the currency which you are paying for in the model, but I don't want to really spend time on this. The issue that you have when you are using chat interfaces, because I suppose that anyone that is like using AI for something more sophisticated, you have a text file somewhere on the side where you have prompts that work for your individual use cases. Basically, what I want to show you today is that you can take those prompts and actually put them into your application, compile it very easily to a real binary, and in that way you can automate basically calling of the model. The problem is that if you want to set, for instance, the system message, even in ChatGPT, it's not possible. In Gemini, for instance, it works kind of, because it's still not respecting, but at least it understands that it should behave somehow. So what I want to show you today is LangChain4j, which is basically a Java library that was very heavily inspired by the upstream Python library, which is called just LangChain, which is actually providing Java binding for interaction with LLM in the background. In LangChain4j, we have basically integration with any major LLM providers. If there is a new one, we are actively trying and adding them more. You have a bunch of different like embedding stores and embedding models. If you are interested in this kind of stuff, I can explain it, but we don't have time in 35 minutes. You have also a possibility to interact with images or audio or video files, but like there is a lot of potential like integration points. There are two levels of APIs that you can choose from. The first one is very low level, which is called chat model, which will give you granular access to almost everything that you can configure in the JSON. And something which I forgot to mention is that also that the JSON is different for any model that you are using. So if you are if your strategy is to call multiple different models, it's kind of impossible to keep up with all the changes which are happening in different providers. That's why you can offload this to LangChain4j. But that chat model interface will shield you from this problem, but it's still very low-level block, so you are working really with individual requests. If you want, for instance, memory, you need to actually manually append the messages yourself. So there is also this higher-level API called AI services, where basically you will just write the interface with the definition of how you want to interact with the model, and LangChain4j will create all that low-level APIs in the background and plug an implementation. You have also ability to do templating in your prompts, chat memory, which I already mentioned, streaming, which is possible with normal Java APIs to just basically get the listeners for individual tokens as they are coming from the LLM. And you have support for more advanced AI concepts like tools or recs. And again, if you are interested in this, I can explain to you what these are, but I cannot do it in this presentation. So if you want to stick to these low-level APIs, you first need to define your actual chat model, which is basically only requiring the actual model which you are calling and the API key, which is used for your authentication. And then you can create this chat request, as you can see here, where I manually need to pass all the messages that I want to send to a model. And the last line, I can just call chat model.chat with my chat request to get my response back. What you will get back is, again, like a little more sophisticated, but it's more or less mapped to exactly what is returned, in my case, from OpenAI. So you see that except for the actual text, which is the response, which I'm getting back, I am also getting like 2 execution requests, which I had none in this particular request, how many tokens I sent, how many tokens was sent back. So it helps you with some estimations. Though that other option, that AI service option, is, as you can see, a little bit more concise, because you just basically define an interface. You are using annotations to define all the messages, or there are also possibilities to have some sensible default. So if there is like only one string parameter in the method, we are treating it as prompt. But you can see that then it's very easier. Your chat model needs to be always defined in the same way, but then I can just instantiate the Poet AI service with basically AI services that create, passing my class and the chat model. And in this call, LangChain4j actually will create that implementation of my interface, and then I'm just calling the methods of my interface with any arguments that I want. So it's way easier. So this last line will actually make an AI call with this request to the LLM. But I am working on Quarkus. I want to show you the integration which we call, oh, yeah, I forgot. Quarkus is 6 years old this March, I believe. And I just want to say that we passed 1,000 contributors even before that, which is quite awesome because it's not so common in Java world to have this many people interested in one technology. So just a perk. So what Quarkus is, for those who don't know, very shortly, JVM framework, which is supporting any JVM language that you can think of. Mainly, we are targeting microservices, serverless, like enterprise applications, but many people don't know that because we have very easy integration with GraalVM, you can actually write CLIs, Edge, GitHub Actions, Kubernetes operators, and these kind of applications too. And you are still writing Java. So, I want to focus on CLIs today. In Quarkus, we will run into so-called extensions, which are pluggable pieces of different functionalities. And Quarkus adds an extension for every integration of LangChain4j, basically every model integration that is in LangChain4j. So you will find Quarkus LangChain4j OpenAI, Quarkus LangChain4j OAMA, I don't know, Azure, OpenAI, whatever. So there are many different extensions that you can choose from. The point is that when you are using Quarkus, you will get all the Quarkus integrations. So again, I don't want to spend too much time on it. So you will get some CDI integrations. You will get dependency injection. You have the possibility to, for instance, only put add register AI service on your LangChain4j AI service, so you don't need to instantiate it manually. Everything will be done by Quarkus in the background. You will get all the enterprise benefits. So if you are serious about using AI, well, something like observability, tracing, actual monitoring of how much money you are actually spending is kind of a necessity, especially when you are going with some more advanced strategies, because then you don't really control how many requests are being sent between your application and the actual LLM provider. And again, if you are interested in that, please find me after the talk. You get build time optimization. So that means that, for instance, that creating of the actual implementation is not done when the JVM is starting. We are actually able to do it when you are doing Maven package. So basically, we will create the code before you are actually running the application. So you don't need to do it every time that you start the application. And yeah, of course, you have perks like automatic memory management, because it's CDI now. We are actually controlling the lifecycle of the object on the background. So if I define my AI service as a request scope bean, it will be forgetting basically what it said with every request. But if I define it as application scope, then it will actually be keeping memory. OK. Yeah, I probably mentioned most of these. You will also get some features like automatic starting of the models if they are local on your machine, or patches visual, basically integrations into your AI model interactions. Like for instance, out of the box, if you just have Quarkus LangChain4j dash something, we will automatically create a simple JavaScript chat interface in this dev UI, so you can actually start chatting with the model without actually defining any code on your side. Yeah, so the basically only difference in Quarkus LangChain4j is that add register AI service, because as you can see, that user message is actually coming also from LangChain4j, so it's just a different way how to define the user message. In this way, now the user message is hard-coded. OK, and the most important part that the Quarkus will add on top of LangChain4j is the whole Quarkus ecosystem, which is now over 800 different extensions which are integrating with different technologies. So you have many, many possibilities how you can integrate basically anything that you think of with the AI calls. There should be one more slide. I lost slide, sorry. There should be one more slide. So I want to basically pick up on this one in the back, here, behind Camel, which is called Pico CLI, which is our integration, or is a library that is providing integrations to write command line applications in Java. So in that sense, you see that I'm writing pretty much very simple Java code, again, mostly annotation oriented. And just by writing this code, it is automatically parsed to a real command line application. And this is what I want to show you. So I guess we have some time. We can play a little. So because I want to actually start from scratch, don't worry, it's like this is my testing directory. If I want to create Quarkus applications, we have this Quarkus CLI, which is actually also using that Pico CLI at the background. So we are eating our own dog food, as people say. I am just creating a new application, and let's do, because today is my first time that I'm doing a talk, it's Friday 13th. Let's do horror motivation or something like this. Yeah, I haven't prepared this, so there might be issues, but let's have fun. So I will just open this in IDEA, move it somewhere else. If I want to run Quarkus application, of course, I could compile it as any other framework with Maven package and run it with java-jar. But in Quarkus, we have this possibility of running application in dev mode, which is basically continuous REPL of your application. So if I now check what was generated for me, you will see this greeting resource, which is returning hello from Quarkus REST. If I call this application on hello, I will get hello from Quarkus REST, but if I change it to, come on, DevConf, not 2024, it's 2025 AI, I can just hit my application again, and it will be automatically redefined. And this is just because I'm using Java 24, which is not shipping some classes, but don't worry about it. Actually, let me do a magic trick. So we are not having errors. And this is already fixed in JDK. I just didn't have time to upgrade my JDK 24. But now it should be without errors. So you see that you are continuously reloading your application, and this works with most of the stuff that you will write in your application. So just you have the taste, and you will understand what I'm doing, because I am not going to stop this application when we are going to develop. When I was creating that application, I already added LangChain4j OpenAI and REST extensions with this -x switch. So I already have the extensions in my application, and as you will see, extensions are nothing fancy. It's just a normal Maven dependency, so Quarkus REST and Quarkus LangChain4j OpenAI. So I can basically add and remove them as I need per my Java application. So if I want to define my interaction with OpenAI, I need my horror, let's call it horror AI service. As I was showing in the slides, I just need to put this register AI service, and now I can write my basically any methods which will be actually get the horror story, get programming motivation quote like this. Now I can use this user message. Let's start with the system message annotations to actually define some context for this. You are a horror movie, is reviewing horror movies. Okay, why not? Saves times. I have no idea. Like, I really hope that I will not put something bad on recording. No. Oh yeah, thank you. But let's see what it generated. Let's do here something like provide a single sentence quote on roads to records based on some horror movie. We'll see what we will get. So, since I don't really have that Pico CLI yet, I can just basically use it in my generated REST class. Because it has this register AI service annotation, it is automatically registered as CDI bean, so I can normally inject it in any other CDI bean. What is happening? Horror AI service, so my horror AI service here. And I can just do here cout, not horror service, get programming horror quote. So let's see what will happen if I now call the application. I'm like, actually, I don't really know. No, you see that it takes a little bit of time because it actually made the call to the OpenAI, and we are getting some quotes. So I'm already wrote my integration with the AI model. Okay, before we will switch to Pico CLI, this dev mode terminal is actually interactive. You can see some commands down here. So when I pressed H, I actually opened this help. I want to show you this dev UI. So if I press D, I'm not sure if you can see down here, like my 18 workspace lighted up. So it actually deducted that I'm running Chrome in the background, and it opened a new tab with the dev UI. This is just the graphical interface into the dev mode. It is only available in dev mode because this question will always ask. Any extension can add basically this kind of card into that, and you can see that length chain for JCore and probably length chain for JOpenAI. You can see here that I have a chat. So if I click chat, you see that it already detected that I have my Horror Expert AI service integration, and basically I can write whatever. What's your favorite movie? I can basically test my integration directly through this UI, so you don't need to really do it on your side to write this basically integration. And also, if I do streaming, tell me a story, I should get the streaming very nicely. So just to show you that this is like pretty nicely for testing, pretty nice to use for testing. Where do I have to go? So one thing why I wanted to show it like this is because typically in your command line applications, you are not shipping REST interfaces. So if I would, and I will actually remove my REST integration and rewrite it to that Pico CLI, you will see that my dev mode actually restarts. And because there was a new release of Quarkus on Wednesday, it also went ahead and downloaded Pico CLI because I haven't tested the latest version yet. This error is expected. It's just saying that we don't have the actual command now. But I wanted to show you that if you would now try to find the dev UI, it is not there because you don't have the actual HTTP server that can handle that request. So don't be surprised when you will be playing with Pico CLI. But you will also see that my whole dev mode now transformed to this command line mode. So I can actually press space to run my application again. But of course, I'm getting error because it's expected. I need to actually go ahead and create my, let's call it just command, horror command. I will do correct naming, and this needs to be callable of integer. Oh, there should be like something like this. I need to command line, I think. Sorry, I forgot. No, only command. Yeah, this should be empty. It was some time that I was playing with this. So I can implement the one method, and basically that's it. So this method will be now automatically invoked. Again, I should be able to inject my horror service here. Inject horror AI service, and let's do the same thing. See, come on. Horror AI service get programming quote. So if I now restart this, yeah, one again expected error. Like this, at least you see that the dev mode will survive most of your mistakes. So now it's telling me that I need a request code context because I'm actually trying to inject some CDI bean, but out of the box, this is not run in CDI. Again, I have just annotation activate request context that will do that. So if I now restart it, hopefully I'm getting my quote, and I already have a command line application. You just don't see it yet. Actually, if I want to play with this a little more, I can actually probably, let's do it like this. Let's show that the playing string movie title. Provide not base, based on movie title, horror movie. So now I'm using the templating. So whatever I will pass as an argument to this method will be automatically injected in my user message, which I'm sending to the AI. And as if I will try to test this, let's do where I'm using this. I actually can remove the one, yeah, here. I will remove the REST service because it will be just doing bad things. And today is Friday the 13th. If I now restart the application, hopefully I will get the JSON working in the shadows. So at least you see like how easy it is. I'm already writing my command line application. If I want to make that parameterized, I think it's option in command line. And what do I have here? Names. Oh, movie. Movie. Yeah, the horror movie required true. Let's do, yeah, required true. And basically all I need to do is here movie and change this to movie. And if I now restart my application, I should actually get an error because movie is now required and I didn't provide the required option movie. So actually I think that I can just press, no? Yeah, so it's already here. So let me try to do this movie. Ring. Oh, shit. Of course, live demo. I forgot the last code. Movie conjuring. So you see that I basically edited the command line and I put basically the actual parameter now to that live reload. So every time that I will press space, now that command line is actually passed to my command line application. And I should be getting, yeah, I hope that I am getting something from, oh, what happened? What happened? Sorry, I clicked something and I shouldn't click in this terminal. I pasted something which I should not, but let's try it again. So edit movie. Tell me a different horror movie. Alien is a horror movie. And okay, at least we are getting some Alien now. Okay, so my point is this is now already a working command line application. If I would compile it, this is just Maven clean package in the background. And maybe Maven clean package without test, because we don't have that much time. I'm actually pretty happy that I finished this and it's working. Like this idea came to me this morning, so it's actually working. So java -jar, I will just find my Quarkus build, Quarkus app, Quarkus run jar. And this is already a command line application, so you see that you are getting the exactly same stuff as we get in my application. So if I do here movie, what was the, let's do like fast none. I am already having my like normal command line application, and because you are writing a Quarkus application, you at the end of the POM.xml you will get this native profile. So if I would just run this Maven clean package -p native, let's try it because I still have 5 minutes. So if I can spend minutes out of it, maybe we can try to compile it. Because you are using the Quarkus extensions, we are basically guaranteeing that this native compilation with GraalVM, for those of you who don't know what GraalVM is, it's just a JVM actually that is able to produce basically native binary, so zeros and ones, which are specific to your operating system. And Quarkus was created with this in mind when it was like architected. And if you are using Quarkus extensions, then we are guaranteeing that this -p or -d native will always work. Just the only issue is that this compilation usually takes around like long time and a lot of resources. Like even for this simple application, it will take probably minute and a half. Just because basically you need to imagine that you are basically dropping the JVM from your application and you need to basically create or go over the whole world of your application. So the more stuff you have in your application, the longer it takes. You see here that I have like 70,000 reachable methods, even in such a simple application, because it's every dependency that you have in your application, and that was faster than I expected. So now in my target, I should have my horror movie motivation 1.0 snapshot runner, which is my actual application. And if I do it with movie IDEs, Hellraiser. It works. The all of these outputs can be disabled. I will show you, and I probably should have showed you, I have a bunch of these applications already available. So if you will want to check there will be a link to the repository at the end. I have a bunch of these applications, yeah, thank you, available. So as you can see, like maybe I can show you. Like one thing which I really hate is waiting for AI images to be generated, like in the UI at the browser, because it's like 15 seconds when you are not doing anything. So I created a wrapper command line application that is now actually generating the image, and when it comes back, it should automatically open. I have this, let's go to a smaller directory. I have only one, okay, I have multiple files here. It doesn't matter. So you see my image came, and this is not totally like misusing this talk to generate a new profile picture for my D&D character. But basically you see this kind of power that you have in your hands. Everything that can be scripted can be now scripted, so you can save file. This FS is actually starting something which we call MCP server in the background, which has basically provided options to the OpenAI, in my case, to access my local directory, which I have here. So I can like chat with OpenAI about my directory playground. So if I do list files, it will actually send it to the OpenAI. OpenAI will see that MCP server provided an option, basically ls. It will send back to the MCP server, invoke this method. It will invoke this method, send the result back to the LLM, and LLM will generate the response, which is my files. But now I can, for instance, create a bash script that counts to 100. Again, this will be the same thing, just different method on that MCP server. And if I now do list files, I should have a new file here. And I have, and yeah. And if I will try to do, probably first see what was generated, then I will do chmod physics count to 100, and I should be able to count to 100. So you see how much basically potential you have in your hands, and it's still Java or any JVM language that you might choose. So with that, I just want to show you that this combo, LangChain4j, Quarkus, and Pico CLI is, in my opinion, very powerful. So if you know Java, this is definitely something that you should try. And with that, I am finished actually on time. And here you have here you have slides, like links to the slides, also the link to my free version of the full PDF of my book, which will be available only for the next month or so. So please download it faster while it's still available. And also there is like a normal printed version link if you want to. And now I will take some questions, if there are some.
No question, just a compliment on a live demo. It takes a skill and you did it well.
Thank you very much.
And whoever said Alan movie, you're my hero.
Any other questions or comments? No? Everybody is so off to like how awesome this is. Yeah, I know. Thank you very much.
Thank you.